Hari Hari. So we are on text number 4 of chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya and he is going to speak. He's going to try to manipulate his guru, Dronacharya. He's going to try to goad his guru, Dronacharya, into fighting even against the principles of Dharma in order to achieve victory over the Pandavas. Let's hear what Duryodhana is going to say to his guru. This is text 4. Here, in this army, are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. These three names, Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada, are very significant, and Duryodhana throws these names at his guru for a very, very specific reason. The Kaurava army was defeated in the kingdom of Virata. A long story for another time. And Dronacharya was part of the Kaurava army when the Kaurava army was defeated by the Pandavas and Virata's army. So by mentioning Virata, Duryodhana is trying to inflict an insult and remind Dronacharya of that humiliation. He once again reminds Dronacharya of Drupada, who has spent vast amount of time, input, energy on begetting a son, a celestial son, who will be able to kill Dronacharya. So Duryodhana is reminding Dronacharya of all these things. Now, I don't want to get into a whole explanation on the evil quality, the evil nature, the unqualified nature of Duryodhana as a disciple. We know this. But I just want to highlight some of the ways that Duryodhana is trying to manipulate his own guru to achieve his own nefarious, selfish ends. But what I really want to highlight is Dronacharya. Dronacharya is susceptible to these taunts of Duryodhana. Dronacharya is not immune to the feeling of humiliation. Duryodhana knows exactly what buttons to push of Dronacharya. Very, very unfortunate. This is not to say, and I don't want to commit any aparad unnecessarily in describing Dronacharya, but the lesson to be learned and to understand is that Dronacharya, as a guru, was susceptible to the taunts and the manipulation of Duryodhana. He himself had not understood. He himself had not come to a level of realization where he was beyond the Arishadvargas. Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, delusion, arrogance, and envy. We saw how Dronacharya wanted to take revenge on Drupada because King Drupada did not want to acknowledge the friendship they had had as children. Dronacharya completely overreacted. There is no doubt that Drupada was wrong. No doubt whatsoever. That Drupada should have honored, even if he did not know Dronacharya from their Gurukul days, even if he had no idea who Dronacharya was, simply by the fact that a Brahmin has come to his court asking for charity, Drupada should have given him something, should have treated Dronacharya with respect, should have treated Dronacharya with honor, as befitting the fact that Dronacharya was of the Brahmana Varna, the social status of being a Brahmana. On that alone, Drupada should have treated him correctly, no doubt whatsoever. However, Dronacharya, he is an acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by example as well as by precept, but by behavior. Dronacharya went completely overboard. The pain, the insult, the humiliation he felt to such a deep extent that he went through this elaborate ruse to become the guru of the princes of Kaurava dynasty, to teach the Kaurava dynasty, the children of the Kaurava dynasty, his military knowledge, and then to attack Drupada and usurp half Drupada's kingdom. A complete overreaction, no matter which way you look at it. This is because Dronacharya himself was not, as evidenced by his life story, was not 100% fully interested in himself being liberated from samsara. So Dronacharya himself needed more spiritual development, more spiritual advancement, because he himself was sidetracked, was easily sidetracked this way or that by humiliation, by being insulted. In so many ways was Dronacharya sidetracked from the ultimate goal of life, which is moksha, which is liberation from samsara. He himself needed much more spiritual guidance and instruction from his guru, Agnivesh. Agnivesh was the guru of Dronacharya. His father was Bharadvaj, so he learned much from his father. Obviously, he lived in his father's ashram, but his father turned him over to Agnivesh for instruction. The parent cannot be the guru of the child. It's the wrong dynamic. That's another video for another time, another presentation for another time. So Dronacharya himself needed more spiritual development. There's no question that Duryodhana was completely uninterested in liberation from samsara. But at least the Acharya Drona should have that realization that his duty is to guide his disciples so that they may achieve liberation. And if the disciples are such that they are unqualified, they are not interested in liberation, they're not interested in becoming free from samsara, then Dronacharya, the guru, is not interested in taking up the responsibility, whether shiksha or diksha guru. That is go back to episode number 3. We talked about the two types of gurus, shiksha and diksha. So whether shiksha or diksha, such a guru is solely interested only in elevating the student or the disciple to the point where they transcend the modes of material nature. They transcend prakriti and they escape the cycle, the wheel of samsara. That is the job description of guru. The guru has no other purpose than to extricate the student or the disciple from samsara. As disciples, as students, we have to make sure that the only reason to take shelter of a shiksha or diksha guru is so that we can find the way to become free from samsara. That is the only reason. Oftentimes, and even myself, I first accepted a guru at the age of 17, very, very young. I do not recommend individuals to take shelter of a guru at such a young age. I do not, very, very rare, very, very rare, 0.001 individuals are able to take shelter of a guru at such a young age and living outside of an ashram adhere to the instructions of the guru while living outside of the guru's ashram. If living in the guru's ashram for the rest of their life, then yes, it is possible. Living under the shelter of the guru for their entire life, then yes, the disciple at the age of even as young as 8 can take initiation from the guru if they're going to remain in the guru's ashram all of their days. Then yes. But we see in the case of Dronacharya himself, the moment he left the ashram of his father, he left the instruction, the guidance of Agnivesh, he was immediately susceptible and fell victim to his weakness of being humiliated, of being unable to deal with humiliation. He immediately became susceptible to that. So I took initiation when I was 17, took shelter of a guru when I was 17. That should not be done. That should not be done. But anyways, I was in Gurukula and many were taking initiation. That was what was done back in those days, way back in the 80s and 90s. And in that particular community, there was always talk, who do you want to take shelter from as a guru? Who do you want to be your guru? Who do you want you to be your guru? And this idea of picking gurus as if you're picking the flavor of an ice cream, that was the problem. That is the problem still to this day. Where we choose, we're interested in taking shelter of a particular guru because that particular guru will give us entry into a particular community. Taking shelter of a particular guru is a line on our resume. Who were you initiated by? Who is your guru? And we want to be known as a disciple, as the student of a particular guru, because that guru gives us prestige. So many individuals choose and pick and chase gurus because of the prestige the guru gives to the credibility the guru gives to their own so-called spiritual life. There's only one reason to begin to take shelter of a guru, Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. One reason and one reason only, because you are sincerely, genuinely interested in becoming free from samsara. That is the only reason. And you choose a guru who you believe is best able to make you, prepare you, and guide you along the path of freedom from samsara. That's the only reason to take shelter of a guru. And the very job description of a guru is to free the student disciple from samsara. Nothing else. Hari Hari.